you very much for your welcome. And I'd like to say it's a pleasure indeed to be back here again with you. I have to apologize for being a bit incommunicado, but as my good brother stated, that's been the result of the fact that I've been at completing a book, a short one, and often when you can't escape the city, you sort of have to pretend you're out of town, to wrap it up. And writing a book is very much like when you're playing athletics, you get into a state of mind or consciousness or what we call you get your concentration on. You really try not to break it. So I have to apologize to my friends and others who sort of tried to get through and found it difficult. I managed to finish the galley there last week, and hopefully in February we'll have the first edition of the black on black violence, so dealing with black criminality, but particularly with the violence that we often express one toward the other, and how that is brought about by the social political circumstances under which we are forced to survive. And there are a couple of there's another book that's being developed too, which we expect to be out soon as well. You may also look forward to a short book on the education of the African child, of the African American child. It's probably around March or April. I've found it so important that we get our material out. And I'm making them short because at this point, we really don't have the time to put in 2 and 3 and 4 years into developing books in terms of the challenges that we face as people nowadays. The lecture tonight, of course, will be as written on your flyer, developing the undeveloped minds of children of African ancestry. I will have to say that you can consider this lecture part 1 on this particular subject matter. I will complete it at the African Portrait Theater Sunday. I believe it's scheduled for around 5:30. I'll have to apologize perhaps to the others who are sort of used to what may be called my more dynamic style of delivery tonight. I'm going to be a bit more professorial, and therefore it means maybe a bit more boring, maybe a bit more, I may tend to put some of you to sleep. But I'm going to risk that in light of the importance of the subject matter. And therefore, I prefer to emphasize the information than the entertainment, because I think we face such dire problems and circumstances until we really need to do a close analysis of our situation. And we need to come away from these kind of occasions with working knowledge, with information we can use, not just a good feeling, not a good stroking, and so forth. Not that other speakers leave us without information, but I think in terms of myself, I want to emphasize that a bit more. Sometimes that sort of takes away from the dynamism of the lecture itself. That's another reason why I'm sort of breaking this lecture up into 2 parts, because when we talk about developing the undeveloped mind of our children, we should take the time to analyze the situation and to analyze the minds of our children and how those minds have been created. You cannot appropriately talk about the education of black children without understanding what we call the cognitive style of black children and the behavioral style of black children. I wrote the developmental psychology of the black child for one major reason, And that major reason is the fact that when you talk of rearing children, and when you talk of educating children, you should have a knowledge of their developmental psychology. One of the major problems with the New York educational system and with the American education system, and in fact, with the African educational system in Africa and other places, is that those systems are not based on a knowledge of the developmental psychology of African children. I've stated on other occasions that a school system that pedagogical approaches, that is teaching approaches, that the content and design of curricula are based on an implicit child. When to teach a particular subject matter, what subject matter is to be taught, how that subject matter is to be taught, what the content will be and so forth, is based upon what we call an implicit theory of the development of the person or individual you're going to teach. In other words, we decide to teach children reading at particular points, certain types of math at particular points in their life, social studies, science, and other things, because we feel that they have a certain readiness due to their biological maturation and due to their social experience. So consequently, if you're going to do a competent job of educating children, you should have a knowledge of their basic developmental psychology, a knowledge of their basic developmental, biological, and psychological orientation. Otherwise, there will be a mismatch between what is being taught, how developmental history, and the child's developmental orientation. We have to recognize then that schools in America, and in particular schools in New York City, are built around the implicit white child, the developmental psychology of the white child. I don't have time here tonight to show you a profile of the so-called mental abilities, let us say, of the Jewish child, the Chinese child, the Puerto Rican and black child tonight, to show you the differences in the organization of those abilities and the differences in the level of those abilities between these sets of children. If you saw those organizational systems and the levels that differentiate these children, you can see immediately then that a school system based upon the psychology of Jewish children will by its very nature, by its very structure, destroy the intellectual potential of black children. So you have to have a knowledge of who your children are if you are to appropriately educate them and design an appropriate educational experience for them. And one of the major problems then that we've had as a people is that we do not know our children, and consequently we have a difficulty in designing the appropriate educational experience for them. You have to come to understand that very clearly. Our children are not, as I've said so often, white children who happen to be black. There are substantial psychological, biological, and other differences between the black child and the white child. The education then of black children is not a matter of mere color. The psychology of our children, as I've stated on other occasions, and the psychology of our people is the result of the historical experience of our people. The psychology that is used in educating children today is a psychology based on the history and experience of Europeans. Consequently, then, the educational approach based on that psychology is inadequate for meeting the educational needs of African people and of our children. However, our children are blamed for this mismatch. They are then described in terms of deficiencies and deviances and defects and other kinds of things that we hear so much about in the everyday world. You as an individual are your history, and your psychology is the result of your history. Therefore, I cannot use your history and the psychology that flows from that history to adequately define the behavior of another individual. That the behavior of the other individual must be defined and described in terms of that individual's history and experience. The same thing applies when we talk about a people. The psychology of Black people and the psychology of Black children it flows from the history and experience of Black people. The behavior and the orientation of Black children today carries in them the history and experience of Black people for the past several thousands, if not millions, of years. We've indicated that the genetic inheritance that our children receive, the genes that our children carry, are not mere chemical packets that determine their physiological aspects. But the genes are encapsulated histories of the experience of our people. In other words, the cultural history, the biological history, the climatic, geographical history of our people, the interaction our people have had with other peoples, the interactions our people have had with their environment on the African continent and other places over the thousands and thousands of years are carried right in the bodies of our children and is a part of their psychology as well as their biology. And therefore, the education of our children must be based on the knowledge of that history and the psychology that flows from that history. The other thing, of course, that we must recognize, and that we'll talk a great deal about here this evening, is that the education of a people must depend upon the problems that people have to solve. And many of you have heard me say again and again that the destiny of the Black child is revolutionary, that the destiny of the white child is conservative, that the major thing that the white child must do is to maintain the advantages that whites already have and to add to those advantages. When we talk of the Black child and the Black people as being disadvantaged, we have referred to the fact that we do not have our share of what this world has to offer. And when we recognize